this is Lesson 10 Systems Program. Now, one of the first things you need to already know, and I don't know why I wrote it up here at the top, but that's just the way I did it in all the classes. Some programs build it in as quit as one of your options, and then this one, it doesn't have the option, but we just have to know that. So the first thing we need to recognize is the program is made that it needs to be in a form of standard form, and I'll clarify that here in just a second. Standard form for a line is capital AX plus capital BX equals capital C. Now, I emphasize the capital letters because you know graphing lines, when you're graphing them, we like them y equals mx plus b. But the b there is the little b, and this is a capital B. That is, they are not the same b's at all. These are simply the coefficients of your x, then your y, equals the constant. It's just a different format. It's nice when you're doing, well, we especially liked it because every one we did in elimination were in standard form. They were already set up in that form. Now, I will tell you that you can do the program with decimals for A, B, and C. You can do the program with fractions, but most at a level of Algebra 2 up don't consider this standard form unless it's integers. Just kind of depends on the teacher and the textbook. It's an adaptive standard form is what we're using. So we're just going to jump into it. Number one, we're looking at a system of two lines. We're trying to find out where they cross, and we're using the program to do it. We're going to write them side by side instead of underneath each other because neither one of them are quite, in all the problems you have, are quite in standard form. Because a lot of times in word problems, they're not going to be in standard form. So I just kind of added that feature. I didn't put them already in this x plus y format. Do them in the calculator, you have to have them in standard form. So in this one, all I have to do is turn my x and y around, which is simply commutative property for addition. And then I'll let you help me with this one. I think that every one you have in classwork can be written in standard form in one step. Now that may be tweaking it just a little bit. This one I think we're going to write all the steps and do it in 2 steps. But what could I do to this to make it look like that? I'm going to add the 12y, and I'm going to write it negative 48 equals 15x plus 12y. Now, I would like you, and I didn't penalize the ones that didn't do it, but most of them saw that as standard form, and they didn't turn it around. But for your notes, I am going to write it 15x plus 12y equals negative 48. And a lot of you could have probably done that in one step anyway. We'll see that in just a minute. I'm going to put a star by that one and a star by that one because that's what we want. Now let's go to the calculator, talk a little bit about it, run the program, and we'll do 2 more. I'm going to do one with you, and then I'm going to let you do one by yourself. I'm just in my home screen. Doesn't really matter where you are, but the first thing you want to do is you want to find a key that says PRGM. It is right between the key for applications, apps, and that is just programs that are built into your calculator, which we use some, probably more on the upper advanced level, your college classes, stuff. And then this one over here is called, we call it VARs, but it's variables. You use that sometimes in, I've used it a little bit in Algebra 2, not much. It just kind of depends on what we get to, but you want to push program. Now, I have quite a few, and I'm going to give you most of those. We're going to, hold on for just a minute, only hitting enter. Yours probably, the only one you have is this one, Solve System. It's going to be up here. They're in alphabetical order. Now let's talk about these stars, because Hunter, that's what's going to come up with yours. The worst feature that most people had the experience with calculators up until the last couple of updates, the operating systems, was they would turn their calculator on, and y'all may have already had it happen, and it say round cleared. Of your programs by putting stars by them, and I just give them to you that way so that they're already archived. But some of the older operating systems won't let you open. If you've got them archived, you have the comfort of knowing you won't lose them. And yours should be the first one. I'm going to arrow down to mine, and you hit enter. Now, asking for. You'll notice here it's got the ax plus by equals c, and then the second one, they use d and e and f as those letters. So let's go over here and write one time. You don't have to do this on your classwork. We're going to do it in your notes. And we're going to write A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, what they're asking for is the coefficients of those equations, of the x and the y and the constant. Doesn't matter which one you start with. I'm going to start with this one. So, A would be my 6. Write it first, then we'll type it. B is your 5. C is your negative 21. And then D is, where are we? Here we go, 15. And E is going to be our 12. And F is going to be your negative 48. So, when you put it in, and even though mine is dark, if I hit enter, it's going to do, I'll just do it because that's what y'all, oh, okay, enter did okay instead of on. So when I hit enter, it came back up, and I'm just going to type it. Okay, everybody with me? Okay, you're going to hit the 6, and then you hit enter. We'll talk about troubleshooting. 5, and then negative 21, enter. Now we're going to go to the second one. 15, and 12, and negative 48. Now when you hit enter, it's done all that work for you. It's done substitution, elimination, all the way the program was written, and we know that these two lines cross at 4, negative 9. Now, and I say it that way because I don't want you to forget that these are lines, and this is the point where they would cross. If you take 4 and put it in for x in both of them, if you put negative 9 in, it will make both of these true. I need to say it that way. Now, all the classwork comes out as ordered pairs, and they all come out even. I didn't put the no solution, infinite solution, because when I was typing this up the other night, I didn't have my calculator with me, and I couldn't remember what it did. I didn't know if it would give you error. It's great. It gives you infinite solutions. It gives you no solutions. So number 2, 0 equals 7x plus 22 minus 4y, and 6y equals negative 8 minus 10x. Now let's get these in standard, and then we'll talk about the calculator. Actually, I better do it while it's still on, where you can see it. Now, if you stop right here in one of the word problems, I think, what did I find I could do? Now, see, I think if I hit enter, it's not going to do what I wanted to do. If you just hit enter, I told you it's in a loop. You don't have to go program. You don't have to go to the program every time you use it if you're doing more than one problem at a time. Now, on ACT, you're probably going to be in and out of it. But in this case, just hitting enter will keep you in it as long as you don't type something else. I'll show you that when I get to it in just a second. So just leave that. We'll come back, and I think it was better to hit enter than it was on, but it'll still work. It says break, and then it comes back. What do I need to do this one? Can you do it in one step? Subtract the 22, and I'm going to take liberties here, and I'm going to write it 7x minus 4y equals negative 22. And I'm okay with that. Some of them in classwork just wrote the answer as to whatever point they got it, but you have to give me the two lines in standard position, standard form, and then you have to give me your point of intersection, because I'm checking all of that. Now, what about this one? What could we do? Add the 10x. And I think they're all set up that way. 10x plus 6y equal, oh, I said it right, wrote it wrong. 10x plus 6y equals negative 8. Now, you shouldn't have to write A, B, C, D, E, F now. You should know what you're doing. So hitting enter will keep you in the program. You should be right here. And then I'm going to use this one first. I'm going to do 7, enter, negative 4, enter, negative 22, enter. Y'all need to be doing this, because just watching me is not going to help you remember. 10, enter, 6, enter. Am I still on the screen? Negative 8, enter, and I think you get negative 2, too. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. Right here, if I said, what's 25 times 9, and you do something like that, you are now out of the program. It automatically takes you out. Enter didn't get me back in it. So if you do something else, you'll have to go program, you'll have to go back to it, and I will show you a quick way, if we don't eliminate those errors, and how to get to that program and then start running it. So now, so here I am, I'm typing, and I go 7 and then it's -4, and I hit 4. Now watch, I've messed up, but I haven't hit enter. So I can just arrow over, or I can hit clear, and it will let me put the -4 in. But if I hit 4, and before I realize it, I hit enter, I've totally messed up. I cannot go back up and change that. You don't want to, it's not going to, I mean, you can start hitting enter. It's like, oh, I don't know how to get out of this. When you get to a point that you've messed up and you don't want to have to just put fake numbers in it just to get it to run through, how do you get out of it? Second quit. So second quit will bring up that done, and then you just hit enter and it comes right back. So you don't even have to go don't have to go program and come back. So if you mess up, second quit will stop it and then let you start all over again. Number 3, I'm gonna let y'all do it completely, and I'll do it, we'll check, and then we're done. 7y minus 3x minus 22 equals 0, and 5y equals 10x. 2, 4. Now, this one I think was pretty straightforward. Most of you probably just did that. This one, do you recognize you could have moved the 10x, or you could have moved the y, and you'd have had 10x minus 5y equals 0. Do you recognize those as being the same thing? You can take, if you add those by elimination, you get 0 equals 0. They're the same line. But you can take any equation. I can take this one, and that's where, if you were in a class where the teacher, if the teacher said A has to be positive, then you would have just multiplied everything by negative and switch all the signs. Positive 3x minus 7y negative 22 will give you the same thing.